PTR Tool Time, your industry podcast, tools, reviews, and stories. Welcome to another episode of PDR Tool Time. This is episode 164, and I'm your host, Daniel Grom, with Vince D'Alessandro, and our couple special guests. We got Ryan Shutt, and we got Hudson. How you doing, Hudson?
Oh, I'm super duper.
How you doing, Vince?
I'm doing well.
And we can't forget our sponsors, of course. We got Magnatech Mat, Hog Glue and Hog Tabs, of course, and CBD Direct for your aches and pains, and then Edgy Tools, and, of course, Mobile Tech RX.
Yes. No, just to talk about CBD Direct, I'm taking that stuff big time right now. I blew out my back on Saturday, and I was bending over doing some caulking in the bathroom, and next thing you know, bam!
Caulking?
I was caulking in the bathroom.
Caulking with an L, right?
Yes. Don't ask me to spell it.
Caulking.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, so I blew out my back, and I'm on these steroids that are making my heart race. And on the flip side of that, I'm taking the CBD drops, the tincture, to kind of settle down my anxiety. Because my heart rate sitting right now is like 108. And my heart's bouncing out of my chest.
You're supposed to go to the friggin' gym when you're taking steroids. That's your problem.
Well, I can't because my back's messed up.
Pump?
My back's messed
Get up.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's good stuff. Daniel's been raving about it. I haven't really talked about it too much lately, but it does work. So it's helping. Instead of taking ibuprofen and Advil and all that stuff, I'm taking the tincture and the...
zero side effects and nothing but benefit.
Exactly. And all natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we brought Ryan on the show this week. We've known Ryan for a little bit here. We see him in and out of shows, Mobile Tech Expo. And
what's the name of your company? RPS?
RPS Dent Specialist out of Baltimore.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Cool.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah. So you guys are in the just waiting for summer to come around at this point, aren't you?
We are. I'm figuring we'll probably have some hail here in the next 2 weeks is my guess.
Oh, that'd be sweet, huh?
So we usually get these little micro burst storms. Every now and then we'll have a really bad crusher, but I don't like the crushers. I like the little towns get hit, and we really do well there. So
yeah. Now, do you have a retail location? Or are you strictly mobile?
Most of my stuff's body shop work. I do have a shop that I rent some space in that works really well. We have a really good working relationship. So that's it.
And I know you're an old dent wizard technician like myself. So do you still work upside down or what?
I do.
Yeah, me too.
I do. Sometimes it's back and forth. Sometimes I get down on a stool and I'm being lazy.
Sure.
But, the Northeast is so heavy with dent wizard guys. So I still see dent wizard guys daily and still talk to them daily. So
yeah, that's great.
You can always tell a dent wizard guy because one of their traps is higher than the other.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every dent wizard guy, man, one trap is like huge on one side.
Huh. Never thought of that.
Yeah.
Hudson, you were trained by a dent wizard guy. Do you work upside down?
I started. I've gone away from it as much as I possibly can, just because of I don't want my back to be like yours.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, 25 years in the business, my back is gone.
Yeah.
Poor Daniel. He's filled with nuts and bolts holding himself together, but he never worked upside down.
No, but we're talking. Me and Vince were talking. He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to get an MRI for my neck." And I go, "Yeah, what's going on?" He goes, "Oh, my fingers are numb." I go, "Oh, mine too." Let me know what the doctor says so I know what my diagnosis is.
Exactly.
Hey, all right. Did you know the trick? Did you already get the MRI?
Yeah, on Sunday.
Oh man, did you pay cash or did you do insurance?
Yeah, insurance paid for it.
Oh, so you didn't pay anything?
Nothing out of pocket yet. I'm sure I'll get some type of bill.
Oh man, I always do cash price on MRIs.
See, and I should have done that because he just wrote up my neck, but I blew out my lower back on Sunday, and I said, he wrote up the lower back too, and she's like, no, just the neck. I'm like, damn. damn it. Because I wanted to find out what was going on with my lower back. I had to get wheelchaired into the MRI because of my lower back on Sunday. It's terrible.
Oh, my gosh. No, true story here. Hurt my neck. I had the Blue Cross Blue Shield Gold Standard package, and I went there and I called before. And I was like, hey, I need to get an MRI. I need to schedule it. I just want to know how much I need to pay before. With the Gold Standard, it was going to be $1,100. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks. And that's with insurance. So I hung up, called back the next day. I go, hey, I need to get an MRI. Just what's your cash price? I don't have insurance. Just said that. And they're like, oh yeah, it'd be $350. I was like,
how much?
Cool. $350 for the cash price.
No way.
No joke. Kid you not. So now every time I do anything, I ask for the cash price. I don't even let them know. Like,
and guys, there's your tech tip for today.
Boom. Ask for the cash price.
Cash deal.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Well, you know what? You have deductibles to meet first, so maybe that's why it was so expensive.
True.
So anyways, Ryan.
So,
back to Ryan.
Yes.
All right. You're out in Baltimore. You're doing damage, big damage, little damage, body shop work, doing all that good stuff, huh?
I'm mainly a smash guy.
Okay.
If I could have a quarter-sized dent, I'd be a happy guy, but I don't get much of that.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Stuff smashes.
Okay.
I don't even like a quarter dent anymore, man. They take me longer than my big smashes.
You know what? Sometimes they do. They really do. I've had two trainees, so it's been interesting trying to get them, do this little stuff. I'll even walk if I'm at a body shop working on a smash and I have my new guy. I kind of walk around and look at cars in the shop and say, hey, I could take care of that dent for you for free, and just to get them on metal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing a lot of free stuff right now.
What were you going to say, Hudson?
I wanted to know what you're using. If you're a smash guy, what's kind of your smash go-to tool then? Because I know that there's some guys, they're all about getting the smash to start out with the Kiko bridge, right? Or the Keko, how do you pronounce it? There's some guys that start it with that. There's some guys that they're a dent dial system guys. Like what's kind of your go-to?
I'm a cold glue guy. I love cold glue.
What cold glue system are you using right now?
I'm still using the old Sergio cold glue.
Cola Fria?
Slide, yeah, with the slide hammer and everything.
It works.
Did you get the original one with the pivot?
Yeah.
And it still sticks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How long have you had it?
I heat it. I've had it for, I don't know, 3 years maybe.
Yeah, it's about 3 years that it came out.
I still have a little can full of the cold glue that I haven't used yet. But a lot of times I just heat it with a torch a little bit and it really makes it sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So start with glue, and
as long as you don't drop it in the dirt, you're fine.
Yeah, it's gone after that. And then dentile. I'm a big dentile guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the full system, or are you
just a couple pieces? Most of my smashes are. I do a ton of roofs and fenders. If you watch on my YouTube channel, you'll see I don't know how many right fender repairs I have on there because that's mainly my stuff. Right fenders and roofs.
Okay. Car. By car, I mean time out. What's your YouTube channel? What's the
RPS Dent Specialist is the YouTube channel.
Okay, cool. Wanted to plug that while you're here. Why not? Right?
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Learn yourself something, people.
Yeah, especially big smashes. There's a lot that do them, but not everyone does them well. That's one thing that I do so many fenders myself, so many big fender smashes. And, I use a dentile as an intermediate. I usually start things out on fenders with the doodah because it saves so much time.
Yeah.
And I don't even really glue pull on fenders on those big smashes that much anymore because I could get so much out with a doodah or, now with the cold glue, depending on if that edge is affected or not.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of times I'll brace that edge, so get it close so I can work. Yeah, so I don't blow the edge out.
Yeah,
I supposedly Shane Jacks is doing something, is creating a tool for that very thing. That's what I think. I heard him mention something like that in one of his videos. Well, I don't know if that's true or not.
When I was down at
what kind of dent?
I think Shane Jacks is creating a tool that keeps fender blowout while you're working on it. Made specifically for that instead of having to do all these jerry rigs.
Well, when I was down at Mikey's last week, down at Toledo's, Dentcraft came up with a really ingenious idea as well. I don't know if he posted it yet, but we did kind of tease it during one of the episodes we were doing. And it's a brace system where you attach it to the fender, and then you have ratchet straps that go back to the suspension, and you pull it back, and it tightens the fender. So when you push on it, it doesn't blow out. It's very simple design, very simple, and it actually totally made sense once I saw it in action.
That's crazy. That sounds useful.
Now, two tools I'll tell you guys should add to your arsenal.
Pogo stick.
The hustle stick, of course. But also, if you go to Auto Body Tool Mart, you'll see the suction cup with the slide hammer that hooks to air. Yes. Dude, I use that freaking every week and love that tool. When the Cola Fria is just not strong enough, or the dent's bigger, is like a big, huge dent. And it comes with 3 suction cups. You throw out the small one and the big one, and you keep the middle one. The middle one's just right. And I can't tell you how many times I use that, because sometimes you'll get a smash and you're like, oh, man, I just don't know if that's going to work. And then you put that suction cup on there and you slam it and you get the meat out. And I always suggest putting heat on it first so you don't crack anything. But I'm surprised so many different times with that thing, how strong it is and how much it'll take out, where the Cola Fria just is not big enough. It's not strong enough,
Have you seen the same system that hooks to the air with the slide hammer that is a pump like our regular?
Yeah, I have one and it sucks. You want to buy it?
Does it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. It does not have the power that the other ones have.
Well, see, that's the good thing about PDR Tool Time. We have Daniel that buys every single product that's out there for awesome. Body shops and PDR.
Yeah, don't buy that off the Snap-on truck like I did. And
you can't even take it to the bench grinder and make it better, huh?
No.
Okay, so
it's going to go on the wall of shame.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Ryan, here's the deal. Something that many people don't know about you, or maybe they do, is you have another project outside of dent removal that's car related. Now, I don't know how to pronounce it. I know how to spell it. How do you pronounce it's a Civic, right?
My OG Civic.
OG, and it's spelled OJEE. And you have an entire Instagram account
there is
on it. And you're
what
building
is this?
Dude, this thing is like, if you want to, every last detail of this Honda Civic, and it's just is completely redone.
And I've got Daniel over there saying, it's a Honda, man. He's a hot rod guy.
No. This thing, who cares what it is?
I can see his face. He's.
I am so blown away by the level of detail. I've been following this for the past year and a half, 2 years that you've been redoing this build. Now, and I don't care what kind of car it is.
I've been following it too. Let me ask you this: what year is that Honda?
It's a '97.
Okay, and you've rebuilt this thing several times now, right?
So I originally built it. It was in a booth at SEMA 2005.
Right.
Crazy. It probably was in 17 publications worldwide. 4 covers. It was in Maxim magazine. I mean, it was a ton of stuff. It was in Germany. It was in Europe.
Yeah.
It's in Paris. That car went everywhere. I have some really, really good sponsors behind me.
Uh-huh.
And when it left SEMA 2005, it went into my mom's garage, and I forgot about it. It just stayed there.
What about this car I have?
I got hooked up with Honda Corporate. They came to me at SEMA 2005, and I ended up building cars for them for the next 4 years. So whatever the new model was, they would ship me a car. I would build it for SEMA and all their auto shows all over the country, and then it would be mine.
Dude, that's badass.
That's so freaking cool.
There's a lot of people that I talk to, they're like, I didn't even know that about you. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I used to do. And I got to a point to where it was a full-time job to where I would have 3 different model cars in 3 different parts of the country. And it was a full-time job. And I'm still trying to push dents and trying to figure this out. And I finally sat back and said, let's focus on the business and grow the business. And now the business is doing pretty well, and we're growing and moving in the right direction. So I pulled this car out of my mom's garage, and it looked like I just took it off the tractor trailer from SEMA.
Nice.
and we brought it home, put it in my garage, and all the guys get together, and we're in the garage drinking beer and having pizza. And we're like, man, this would be really cool to rebuild. This sounds like a really good time. It'd be a lot of fun. Oh, what a nightmare!
Yeah.
And the industry's changed. It's gotten to a point to where back in the day, I could walk into SEMA and say, "Yep, I'll take that," and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, here, whatever you need." Now, I took the car, did this really awesome proposal a year and a half ago at SEMA. I went to these guys, and they're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "This is a proposal. Just email to me." I'm like, "No way.
Right.
You gotta see this thing." So it came to a point to where they were like, "We don't care how many publications you've been in. We don't care that you did cars for Honda Corporate. What's your Instagram account?"
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I've only got 48 followers." "Yeah, we're not going to help you."
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's how it's changed.
So-
It's all about your social influence.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's
just
kind of
like in our
weird.
business.
For years, I used to do the cars for Steve Brown from Alpine Stereo.
Oh yeah, I know Steve well.
Steve's a really good guy, and he did all the builds for him. And I would watch it from start to finish, whether it was the boat he did or the BMW,
X5.
the X5. I worked on that. I had to fix a dent in Kurt Cobain's face. So, and I was usually the last one out that came out to fix all the dents on it when he was all done. And just we're talking hundreds of well, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but definitely $100,000 car when Alpine was done with it.
Yeah.
And for SEMA every year,
their cars were outrageous.
yeah, they were totally outrageous, and they were fun to work on. Actually, not really, because they were all full of Bondo, really.
Yes.
But just the prestige behind it. Oh, I'm getting to work on this car for Alpine.
Of course.
Yeah, it's always cool, dude.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I was at SEMA this year working on the one-of-one RTR Ford Mustang in the Ford booth with a flathead screwdriver.
Right.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Well, Ryan, that you owe all that to the person that started the whole trend. You know who that was?
No.
You're looking at him. I built
The first SEMA car ever, Daniel.
Yeah.
I
Brown.
built a car in
Daniel, you are the most
1979.
modest man I know.
What was that? 1949?
I have
1949.
1979
79.
Datsun 310, lowered with low profile wheels, painted it black with louvers on the back,
Ooh, louvers. You had to have the louvers.
and pinstriping that had back in black on the back. That's the name of the car, was back in black in 1979. All my friends,
so cute.
all my friends were driving Camaros and Chevelles and stuff like that. And I'm like, gas prices are through the roof, man. I won't be able to make it to LA. I can't go, cruising around. So I bought this Datsun and I fixed it up, put a nice kick-ass stereo. I had the best stereo in our high school. And it was the trend. And I started it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
You were the first.
I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that Datsun would be worth right now, though?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'll post a picture for you so you can see it.
Okay.
You should post it on PDR Tool Time so we can
I
all
will.
see it. And
So with this build, I'm actually it's going to be a hot rod Civic.
Oh.
what?
So you're going to drop like a Chevy 350 in there or something?
We were originally going to do an LS.
Uh-huh. LS?
Yeah, that's the standard right now.
Do the LS supercharger.
I was going to have to cut three quarters of the car apart. And I was like, you know what? No, we're not doing that. So it'll be done one day.
Yeah. That's cool.
All right. So back to here's another thing I know about you, Ryan, that I also love and I think needs to be brought up is you have a unique, when you go to service your body shops, you have a unique thing you use. You're not a bucket guy, you're not a cart guy, you're not a gun case guy.
Oh, okay. Now I'm getting it.
Yeah, now you're getting it. When you show up to a body shop, how are you getting all your tools to the car?
My go bag.
Your go bag.
Yeah, man.
It used to be a Door the Explorer backpack, right?
It would. Yes.
But you've upgraded. I think. Well, you have a Milwaukee backpack now.
Yeah, the Milwaukee backpack with the hard bottom.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
So
And you just have it all sticking out, like all.
Yeah.
It looks. You know what they call me not funny, but my new guy carries the bag for me. So he's like my caddy. I'm like, give me the 7-iron. 7-iron out, and he's like, here, give me my putter. So that thing started off as I was making so many trips back and forth to my truck.
Yeah.
You walk in with your 5 tools in your hand and your bag. You go in there and I'm like, man, I need this, I need that, I need this. Oh, I need a panel popper. And I saw a couple years ago, Kyle Violet, it was on Facebook. He says, my backpack to go in my body shops. And it was like an R&I bag with a couple little tools. And I was like, that's a great idea. So this kind of evolved, and it works really, really well. The bad part of it is Milwaukee stopped making that backpack. So I pretty much have bought everything on Amazon that I could buy because it works so well for what we do.
Nice.
Huh. That's fantastic.
That and my new thing is the Beta cart.
Yes.
Okay. Is that
Kiko
worth the
carries
price tag?
For me, literally it has the cold glue, 2 glue guns, all my glue, it's got everything. So I take the bag, pull the Beta cart out, and just roll it along. I use it every day.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I wouldn't pile a bunch of tools on there. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's unsteady from side to side, but it's definitely not like a TDN cart.
Yeah.
It's more of a smaller. For glue, it works awesome because it's got little holders, and it's amazing.
That's one thing nobody's really has perfected, that route guy kind of cart.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, somebody needs to perfect that at some point.
There was a guy that showed up at MT, I think it was 2 years ago. They had a rolling cart that I thought had a lot of ingenuity.
It was a 3-tier, right?
Yeah, it was a 3-tier.
It looked like a little miniature staircase, metal box with a bunch of holes in it.
Yeah. And he kind of fell off the face of the earth. I talked to him and I said, hey, let me try it out and see if it works. It's something that we might be able to help promote here on PDR Tool Time if it's good. And he just wasn't into like advertising. I think, coming up with tools is one thing, but advertising and getting them out there to everyone is another thing. And
have you guys seen that one? I think it's a German cart system that it collapses like a gurney for an ambulance.
An ambulance?
An ambulance. And it slides into like a cradle and then locks into a cradle that's mounted on the inside of your van. But you pull it out and the legs like fall down and then you lock them.
I know a couple guys that are working on stuff like that, but no one has really perfected it
No, there's one in Germany that has perfected it, but it's
going to cost an arm and a leg. That's the other obstacle.
The thing is, it's all in German, so I don't know what it costs. And,
that reminds me, Wade Hartley and I, back when I was working with Wade, we would always joke like we need to rebrand our entire business and get an old ambulance and call ourselves Flatline PDR. And we'd put all our tools on a gurney, and
Look at that little
like
hearse.
Show up. Rear.
Yeah. Who are you going to call?
Flatline.
Dent Busters.
There was a Dent Busters in Chicago.
Yeah, I think there's a
There's
Dent
one
Busters
here.
out here.
Yeah.
There's one here.
So, all right. So along with your backpack, I'm assuming in your backpack you're going to have all your go-tos in there, right? Like pretty much what 90% of dent tools can be fixed with, or dents can be fixed with. So what are going to be some of those for you?
It's got the Stucky wedge, some panel poppers, a screwdriver, a bunch of my Dentcraft mini whale tails, like the really small, just handle. What are they, like 6-inch long whale tails inside there? The Dentcraft black handled hook set. So like
the side panel set.
A couple of the wires I really like. I don't use the longer stuff. Door tool wise, I use a lot of PDR Finesse. I did just start doing some stuff with Blem on some hook tools. So they've really been in the bag getting some use.
Yeah, you're doing some testing on a Blem tool right now, aren't you?
I am. It's I've been working with Mark a little bit, and there was a need that I need. I do a lot of Chevy pickups here in where most of my area is. It's trucks everywhere. I mean, it's a ton of trucks, and I would always struggle on the tops up by the belt molding on the Chevy Colorados, and you can get in the top, but I could never get enough leverage towards that mirror to get the leverage to push the dent out at the top. So I went to Mark and said, hey, you make a hook tool already. can we make one a little shorter? His is 19 inches long, and I'm like, that's just too long.
Mm-hmm.
So
you lose drive with that, don't you?
Yes, and I wanted something. I was using the Dentcraft hook set that has the angle, and I just always felt like I couldn't get enough drive at the very top. So we came out with a 11.5-inch hook, stainless hook tool with the ratcheting handle.
Yeah.
Now, does it have a bend?
It doesn't have the bend. So that was another thing we were back and forth about. With a lot of those Colorados and Silverados, the bend really wasn't helping me any. I ended up using a lot of times the purple hook tool from Dentcraft. So I just pretty much needed something standard.
You know what, Ryan, that I have a tool from CarePoint, and it's a hook tool. And instead of putting a bend on that, what they did is they put a twist on it.
Really?
Well, the Blem ones do have a twist. The original ones. I've been using those for years.
They have the cut back to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now
Actually,
this is more of a twist, and it's like they took the tip of the tool and they twisted it, and it's brilliant because it slides flat behind the brace.
Yeah.
And all it is a simple little twist, and when you have to see it, it's hard to explain.
Is that a ratcheting handle?
No. In fact, I got it out of their $20 bin 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, they're fantastic. I mean, I don't think they even make them anymore.
Now, Ryan, you were holding up that tool just a second ago. Yeah. I have yet to buy a Blem ratcheting handle, and in that handle, it looks super comfortable. It kind of, what is that, like a 1-inch diameter, 1.5-inch diameter tube with a rounded off end?
Yeah, and the first Blem tool I had was a standard hook tool from them with a ratcheting handle. Chad Peters from Endeavor Tools is like, I'm telling you, you've got to get some of their stuff. I've been a PDR Finesse Dentcraft guy and some Ultra stuff periodically.
Yeah.
Forever. And I bought the hook tool originally, the 19-inch long one, and I really, really like this handle. The handle on there is so much more comfortable than the
handles are fantastic.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I have their lefts and rights, the Blem left and rights, because everyone was ranting and raving about them, several years ago, and so I bought them. And I still have them, I still use them, but I don't like them as much as everyone else does, because I like to have an open grip with when I use my tools, like my fingers are kind of fanned out, and instead of holding my hand into a fist. And I feel like the Blems kind of force me to hold my hands around it.
Is the blend tool that you're talking about have a pistol grip, or is it like they're small pistol grips?
No, not. Yeah, maybe it's triangular.
It's
triangular, flat.
Yeah,
on their left and right, and they're great tools, and they work. I still use them to this day, but they kind of force me to close my hand around them, which for me personally, that leads to more fatigue in my hands over time. Versus like with a Dentcraft left and right, it's got that loop, and I can just have my hands open and pressing, and it keeps my hands open and not like tensed.
Yeah.
Well,
oddly enough, we're actually going to have Mark Blem on our show, I believe next week or the following week. So
next week
we'll be able to talk to him about all this stuff as well. I've been a big fan of Jerry Blem's tools for years. They're the first ones I bought when I left Dent Wizard was Blem tools, because we did have some. Actually, probably back then, Jerry probably still owned A1 at the time.
Yeah, it was my first set of tools.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to having Blem on the show next week and pick his brain a little bit. He's always made really awesome tools. And you're right, Ryan, that handle is really comfortable, and the ratcheting is a good part about it, too. It doesn't come undone very easily.
And I actually posted a picture, I guess, last week, and I had a lot of guys reach out, and they're like, how are you using that at the top of the door? Doesn't it pop out? When you get it up top and you're trying to pull and pull it up in that brace.
Yeah.
Any ratcheting tool is going to pop, getting it where you needed to get it. But if you're using it correctly at the top of that door.
I'm going to give you a tech tip right now.
What's that?
Okay. Take that tool, to somebody that welds, if you don't weld, take a washer, slip it on the end of your tool, slide it all the way to the top, and weld it to the tool.
Oh.
And then you wrap your 2 fingers around it, holding it to the handle when you're pulling it up. That's what I did to one of mine.
Or to pimp out PDR Finesse, their hook tool is the opposite of all their other ratcheting handles.
Yeah, the reverse.
It's reverse.
Yeah,
so
CarePoint does the same thing.
Yeah, so the PDR Finesse ones, whenever you're pulling up on it for their hook tool, that's what locks it in place. And then when you need to put it into its right position, you push down and adjust it. Versus,
look at the wisdom there with Daniel. Look at that wisdom.
Yeah, that's what old age does for you. So
hey, old age better do something for me.
Yeah, right. Okay, hey, so weird question, but something that I love accessories. Like I will go on to PDR pages, the PDR tool pages, and I will just look at all the weird and different accessories. I don't know. I love them because they're just small little trinkets that make your life easier. What's an accessory that you just could not live without? This is a tool that you don't use to push with. Like, what is an accessory that it's just like, man, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know. See, we all know what our dent tools are, but when it comes to like our accessories,
could it be a knockdown?
Sure.
No, it cannot be. It cannot be fixing dent related. It can be only.
Oh, okay.
I'm making you think outside the box here. Like I know what mine are. Like I have a lot that I love. I'm
a big. Again,
I love my hole straightener from Ultra.
I need one of those so bad.
I need one too.
Those it's like a $65 hole straightener, and I mean it's so simple and easy. It's just squeeze. And
I was using it today, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I hogged the hell out of a factory hole today.
Same here. Yeah.
And I mean, I butchered this thing, but I was able to friggin' reshape it and put the factory plug back in. Thank God.
Within seconds too. Right.
Yeah. But when you know what I didn't realize is it has an extra tip in the handle.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm like, because it got all rusted. I guess I didn't see it before because it was black, but it'd been sitting in my back of my truck and it got rusty. And I was like, oh, what's this thing? Oh, it's an extra tip. It's wider. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that one.
Right. Yeah.
I've got one. And actually, Daniel, you put it online a couple months ago, but I've had it for, I guess, a year. It's these little wedges that it comes with orange and black. There's like
yeah.
And they're like it's got like a hammerhead on one of them.
Yeah, hammerhead one.
To get the tabs off, man, that set is amazing.
Yeah, that hammerhead is absolutely amazing. And you know what that guy does make? So he makes that for the construction industry. And he makes a wedge that is like over a foot long, I think. It's a huge friggin' wedge, right? And it's made for slipping under doors and aligning doors when you're putting a door on in a construction. But I end up using this thing all the time. Sometimes, like when I pull down a fender liner, I'll stick that thing up there so it keeps the fender liner out of my way. But I use it. I've used it in all kinds of odd places, and it's come in really handy sometimes.
Yeah, that set it's awesome.
I love the hole straightener from Ultra, and it's $79.
$79. Okay.
Not 65.
Okay.
I also had the whole straightener for Kiko, and I like the one from Kiko for doing motorcycle stuff because I can straighten out the opening of a motorcycle opening because it's got a long neck to go down inside.
Freaking A. I have that too, and I just forgot that I actually owned that.
You own it? Really?
I own it, but I don't ever use it because it requires me to unscrew my freaking Kiko lifter. Like I don't have a dedicated.
Oh, see, I had one of their old metal lifters.
Yeah,
and they went to the plastic, so I used it on the metal lifter, and it's great.
I do. I have an old Worth. I wonder if it could work on a Worth lifter.
No,
I don't think so. I
They
think
don't ruin my day, Daniel.
Stucky's new one looks pretty good too.
Yes.
Yeah, I was messing with that one at Mobile Tech, and it looks all-in-one system.
Well, it's also price point is better than everybody else's, I think.
I don't even know what the price is.
I think it's like $60.
Peter has one too from VIP Tools. He's got one coming out as well. Or actually, it's already out. I've been testing that one.
Yeah, get yourself a hole straightener, no matter who you buy it from.
I need
Ryan,
one too. So.
Ryan, question. Oh well, maybe you just answered it. Have you ever had an issue since you do hail? You probably do more hail than all of us here. Have you ever had an issue with insurance coming back on a job and saying, "Hey, you need to straighten these holes"?
No.
I know some guys that have had that where they said, "Straighten these holes, get them fixed, or we're gonna have to replace the whole hood."
Mm-hmm.
You'll get an adjuster like that sometimes.
I looked at a $5,000 hail car today, so that'll be my problem with this hail car, and I'll give you a ring.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So what did you say your favorite accessory was?
What did I just say?
He doesn't have one.
No, I just said something.
Oh yeah, the
wedges that pull the glue off. The little quick. I'll post it tomorrow.
It's a wedge set. There's 3 wedges. One of them looks like a hammerhead.
Yeah.
And it works great for, when you got that stubborn glue that will not come off sometimes. And you're like doing everything. Yeah. You can slide this thing under there and get it a little bit lifted to get some.
Hold on. What kind of glue are we talking about glue like embracing? Or
no, like glue, like you glue on the green, the hog, the tab weld. Sometimes you can't get the tabs off.
Okay.
Free the alcohol, and this thing's just so thin. It's a softer plastic, and it just gets in between there and pops the tab off.
Oh, yeah. I need this in my life.
The other accessory that I really enjoy using, and it's not just because Vince is on the show, I use that Magnatech mat for more stuff than I really should.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For Jeeps, I do a ton of Jeeps, and I lay it up on the windshield, lay the hood up. So, I used to put the microfiber there.
Go, Vince. Look at
some of the places that I go, it stays in my bag.
Uh-huh.
So some of the places I go, it's kind of tight. So the bag obviously doesn't fit in between there.
Yeah.
So I just stick the mat on the side of the car, throw a couple tools, and rock the dent. So
that's
you know
awesome.
what? You got to buy a second one and cut it up. Honestly, I use. Vince sold me like a defective one that had like some blemishes in it.
I didn't sell it to you. I gave it to you. Come on.
Okay. And I cut it up, and I use those pieces like to protect the gas door when you're having to leverage off of the edge of a gas door or edge of any kind of panel. I'll use it for that all the time. And you just have a little tiny piece, and you just boom, it sticks there, it stays, protects the edge. Yeah. Protects the paint. People a lot of times we use duct tape to protect the paint. I just grab that thing and
duct tape's
way cleaner, easier.
Small shapes.
Well, what the cool thing is now that you brought it up, Ryan, is you're going to be in Texas for the Anson Bonanza, and you're going to be taking the course, the IMI EV course with me, and you'll be able to see the new Magnatech mat. It's going to be revealed there.
Oh my God! Really?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
If I don't take the IMI, do I get to see it?
You can, but are you going to come down for it or up for it? You're in Houston, so it's really up for you.
Yes, I'm going to be there. We already know this. I'm going to be there.
All right. Well, I'll have a present for you because I do owe you one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I do have to bring on one tool that it's probably, I said it earlier, not today, but it's a life changer for me. This hammer that's coming out from Chad from Endeavor Tools.
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking. Okay, so it looks like a carbon fiber shaft.
Solid carbon fiber shaft.
It's solid carbon, so it's not a tube. It's a solid.
No. Yep.
Okay. How much is it? And what does it weigh like in comparison to other hammers?
They're all different sizes.
Come on, it's basically a glorified carbon fiber shiny Craftsman hammer.
Hold on now. No, I'm seeing
I can't even say anything about that. So
okay. So
that was for Vince. That was for Vince.
So Vince has the one that I was actually supposed to get at the Hail Expo.
Sorry about that.
I got the 12 inches one, but it was fine. Chad and I talk all the time. We're good.
Okay.
So Chad brought this. I shared a room with him at the Hail Expo, and he says, "You've got to try this." He's been telling me about it for a couple months. You've got to try this. And I'm like, dude, it's another blending hammer. How many hammers do we really need?
Right.
He's like, just trust me. Just trust me. So we go over Dwayne.
You know what? I hate when people say that because you can't have enough blending hammers. I'm sorry. Go on.
How many knockdowns how many different knockdowns do we have? How many different tips do we have? How many different bended tools?
Everybody likes different things.
Right? Exactly.
This thing, as soon as I got it back, and what it is it's a solid carbon shaft, aluminum head to it, and it has these dense rubber ends. Okay. One side is larger, one side's the size of a quarter, the other's probably smaller than a dime.
Okay.
And what it's really made for is crowns.
Are they interchangeable?
No, they are not.
They are permanently part of the hammer.
Yes, they're screwed in here, but it's not a 5/16 or whatever what's the standard?
The standard is
5/16, 18.
So
yeah,
I used it on a really bad roof, and at first I was kind of just knocking around on it and feeling it out, and then I really started beating on this thing, and you can beat it and it doesn't divot.
Exactly.
I was using a snap-on hammer with a Dentcraft knockdown with a blue M18 to do a lot of my crowns, and every now and then I would divot it. This thing, I mean, you can literally beat the crap out of it and it doesn't divot. You're
right. And the thing that I relate it most to, because the density of it, it's not like a Craftsman hammer, Daniel. If you put it, I don't know the durometer or whatever the softness or the hardness of it is, but if you have the big Craftsman hammer that comes with the interchangeable heads, there's a brown, there's a red, yellow, and then a metal one. It was kind of a dead blow Craftsman hammer. We used to use that all the time on roofs. When I worked at LAX at Hertz, after the Lakers won a championship, people would walk all over roofs, right, in cars. So we would use this big Craftsman hammer, and we would fix the town cars without ever dropping the headliners. And what we were doing, we were beating the crap out of the crowns using that Craftsman hammer. That has the same hardness as the larger Craftsman hammer with the brown head on it. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I mean, you cannot make a mistake with this hammer.
It's funny that you just said that. So we had I guess 2 weeks ago, there was a big teen party at one of these, not really rundown malls, but a mall that there's not a whole lot of stores in, a lot of stuff's closed. And there were 500 kids outside. And it was just a big fight. And there's a Kia dealership there. I don't service the used cars. I don't service the new cars, but I do the body shop. And they walked across 5 of these roofs of these brand new Kia Sedonias. And it was just covered in crowns. And that was the first time I got to use this. I never even pushed on the car. I mean, this thing was wicked. I wasn't even sure if I could fix it.
Yeah.
And it's like nothing I've ever used.
Yeah.
And it's not available. I'm looking at the site. It's not available.
It's not available yet. It will be available at the
Anson Bonanza
open house. Yes.
So what's going to be? Do you know what the price point's going to be on it?
2 different sizes. I don't know the price points yet, and I don't know the exact sizes because we've all been trying to figure out what is the best universal 2 sizes that he has. So,
and it has a ball grip at the end, so
it does.
It's to your palm.
Vince actually said he's like, I wish the ball was larger at the very end.
So that looks like about an 18-inch.
Yeah,
that's about what I like. I like an 18-inch.
I don't actually hold it by the ball. A lot of guys hold them at the very back and the ball in the middle.
That's how I do.
I'm more up because I am really wailing on this thing.
Okay. There's also holes in the head. What's the deal?
Just to lighten it up, I think.
Yep.
It lightens it up. But if I'm hitting crowns, do I want it light?
I'm telling you.
Maybe they'll have an optional weights that will fit in there for you.
He needs to add some weights. I was about to say, can you add some weights to that?
Yeah. What about that?
My fishing lures.
It may, and it's funny because Peter from VIP came over and he says, this end needs to be harder. This end, the smaller end, needs to be harder rubber. And Chad's like, no, you're not understanding. You're not understanding what the point of this hammer is. So keep your eyes out.
What is the point of the hammer? Tell me. I know you said it, but I want to hear it again.
For big smashes, crowns. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'll say to you, Ryan, is have you put your hands on a ratchet hatchet?
I have not.
So have you seen the handle that he had made for his? It's like what shape is that, Vince?
It's like the shape of a regular old.
It's thin.
It's the flat one that you sent me.
Yeah, the rubber handle.
Yeah, it's flat, I guess.
It's like a flat rubber handle.
It's an elongated oval.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real elongated oval, I guess.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I go, hey, could you sell those handles? Because I want to put them on all my hammers now. And if you're holding it like that, I would buy one of his handles and put it on there, because it forces you to hammer in line, but it's so freaking comfortable, and it has so much grip. It's the best handle I've ever had on a hammer.
Yeah, I've had that now. I've had that hammer now. I think about 3 weeks now that you sent it to me. I'm having really good success with it. What I use it for now is I have the Edgy Tools Flatty. What's it called? The knocker.
Yeah,
the knocker.
Yeah.
I have the knocker on one side, and then I have the new VIP flat one that looks like the knocker on the opposite side. And I'm not sure.
I really like it.
I really like it too, and it has a little bit more of a dome on it than the Edgy knocker, and so each side has one knocker on it. So I'll get a little flatter one with the Edgy.
Double knockers.
I got double knockers.
Beat me to it.
So and that is now dedicated to my Dings hammer.
That's your knockers hammer.
That's my knockers. I got double knockers.
You know, it's so funny. I made myself a little Christmas tree to hold all my hammers out of PVC pipe. I just cut PVC pipe and screwed it all together.
I need you to send me a picture of this. This is amazing.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I'm like envisioning so many
So I
different.
have a piece of PVC pipe hooked to my cart in the very middle, and then I took 2-inch pieces of PVC that I cut and glued them all the way around the centerpiece. And then all my hammers go around in a center circle.
That's adorable.
And when I'm working on a car, I'm grabbing 3-4 hammers now.
Yeah.
Where I'm blending here. No, that's not the right one. This is the right one. This and I'm really switching off. I mean, I don't stick to one thing anymore.
To mention the 10th dent tool company today. That's what one thing I enjoy about the Willie Quick Tools hammer is I have a whole set of tips with all the magnetic attachments, and so when I know that I'm, instead of grabbing 3 or 4 different hammers now, and I know I'm going to go from crown to mid to fine point, I'll just click those in. Yeah, interchange that. But I'm also not a shop like you are. So,
I've kind of veered away from tips that have magnetic pull to them.
Yeah, I know you're just dumb.
I've lost all mine.
It's not that they're not good or anything, but I use my Magnatech mat a lot. And then I have all my tips on my rolling cart as well, and everything is getting clumped together, and it's driving me nuts. So even some of my tequila knockdowns, I'll pop the magnets out of them because they're not rolling away anyways. If I'm throwing them on my mat or on my cart, they're not rolling away. But it's driving me nuts. I actually had to take my Willie knockdown out of my mix because it was sticking to everything. And it's where is the damn thing? And I'm always looking for it. And it's not knocking that it's a great knockdown. His system is awesome. And that's the wonderful thing about all the tools that we have in our industry now. We're able to pick and choose and make our own little, craft or our own little,
Yeah. Some guys like Matco, some guys like Snap-on.
Sure.
Some for some reason like Cornwell. I don't know why, but they do, but same thing in the tool industry. In ours,
and especially with hammers, they're so personal to us. So I think it is needed that we have such a large variety, And it's wonderful that, you have opportunities now that we didn't have years ago. We just had MTE, but now, like Anson has 2 vans driving around. So you could stop one of those guys and touch and feel and see if you like it first. PDR Finesse has a van driving around now. You could feel these tools before you're trying them out. You got Dent Tools USA in Colorado. There's so many options now that if you're thinking about buying them, get out to one of these stores or call up the Anson vans and have them drive out to you and touch and feel and pick out the stuff that you want.
The people like to complain about this. I get it. Oh, do we need another hammer? Like, you know what? Go to your freaking Home Depot and tell me how many different hammers you see there.
Oh, yeah.
How many different Phillips head screwdrivers do you see? How many different flatheads do you see? Stop telling me we have too many of one thing. You know what? If we have people that are passionate about making new tools that are unique to our industry, that can maybe make that one tech a little bit faster, a little bit better, make them a little bit more money, and that tool company is willing to make that for them, you know what? We should applaud that and celebrate.
Awesome.
Let's not go and constantly be these negative Nancys. Like,
I think cool thing in this industry is the actual techs out there making the tools.
Absolutely.
You have physically out there in the field saying something like this would be great or that would be great, or James Lee coming up with the Eliminant light. That stuff back in the day. I remember the only thing I had the glue pull with was a Worth glue tab.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You cut the wings off of it if you needed to.
When people are saying stuff like that, I think Hudson they're usually too cheap to reinvest.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have a big advantage. I have a shop. And I have every freaking tool available to me. And I can tell you from since I started PDR Tool Time and now, I am much quicker and better at my job because I have all those tools available. I have such a huge selection to choose from to do the right job with the right tool.
And Daniel, remember early on when you, Mike and you and John Hiley, you guys used to tease me like, convince Vince to buy this tool, and now there's no convincing. I go out and I get it and make it work. There's so many tools.
The light bulb finally went off for you.
It finally did. Point. It's like, okay, I could give up these old Dent Wizard tools I've had for 25 years because there's stuff that's better, for crying out loud.
So and this is another thing is, we are in a semi-competitive industry, right? If you can't fix that dent, they're going to take it to someone down the street, or that dealership is going to call another dent guy, or that body shop's going to call. I mean, we have really great relationships, right? But for some of us, it's a very real thing that customer is just going to call someone else. And if they can fix that dent that you can't, and it's only because they have that tool that you don't have, man, that sucks.
Yeah. How many times have you thought to yourself while you're fixing a dent and you pull out that tool that you haven't touched for like a year and you grab that tool and it's like, perfection.
Yes, exactly. And I hate those tools because they take up so much room in my cart, but then there's that, it's like, and it always happens. You're like, hey, oh man, I need to take this tool off my car. I haven't used it in forever. And then the next day, there's that one freaking dent you use.
And you know it's the tool.
Like, that's it. All right, cool.
But you're fixing that dent and it comes out great. And you go, nobody else could fix that dent without this tool. I know that for a fact. And we've all been there, right?
I have probably 150 tools that I can push a dent with on my cart alone. I have the large TDN cart and I still feel like I need more because I'm just like,
that's when you need to buy a shop.
I was working on a Rolls Royce yesterday. I was on a Rolls Royce and I'm fixing this hood and it was aluminum. And the only tools I had that could get to it were broad tipped tools. And broad tips on aluminum do not go well for sharp dents or any dents on aluminum. And I needed a sharp tip tool that had a lot of kick to it and I could get it on there. Didn't have one available. I just had to freaking crank it like crazy and risk tearing the aluminum bracing. It worked out, but I wish that there was something I had that was sharper. And now I'm going to have to search for a tool that I can use that has a long kick and that's sharp.
Ultra has one.
Yeah, I know they do. And the tool I used to fix it was an ultra tool, but it was a broad tip.
Yeah.
So,
what's your guys' thoughts on the B&D edge pliers?
The new ones?
Are you talking the fender pliers or the edge pliers?
The edge pliers.
Love them. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, they do work. He does have a fender plier that is now out.
What's the difference?
The difference is it has a longer throw on it. And
so you can go deeper into a fender.
Yeah.
Okay.
But doesn't it also angle upward a little bit too?
Yeah, the handles angle differently too.
So it doesn't touch the tire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now did he make the handles rounded now too? So they don't touch you?
Yeah. They're basically the handles off of his mini lifter that he makes for Anson. They're comfortable and they're rubber coated, so it's an off the shelf type of handle. So you have a bigger degree of pulling and leverage on it. Will it work as an edge plier too? Yeah, probably. If you haven't bought an edge plier, you might want to buy it. But they are two different tools, though.
Yeah, they are two different tools. I want to stipulate that they're not really the same. The edge pliers are specific for edges, but as far as any edge tool out there, the edge pliers, I think, are far superior than everything else out there.
Yeah, and I've worked with them now to redesign both of them, the edge pliers and the fender pliers, because one thing that I was noticing is that, A, there's a pinch factor. I almost lost a nipple. And B, the edges of the tool itself were not rounded. So you had a scratch factor if you were putting it on an edge or into a fender that you could take a chunk of paint off with it. So he rounded off the edges.
Fender pliers, I called him up and I told him I like to see slots where you can take the feet out wider. You know, if you could take the feet out a little bit wider, that would be an advantage as well. So like if you're working on a larger dent on the edge of a fender, you'd be able to see it clearer.
Yeah.
If you were able to take the feet out.
What I like about Mike over at B&D now is that he's listening to technicians.
He's good.
He's at my shop a couple, 2-3 times a week, showing me new stuff, and I'm giving him the yay and nay. And he's got one of those creative minds, and it's kind of neat to see tool makers like that, because actually Steve from Ultra is the same way. They have a very creative mind, and sometimes it's like borderline like Asperger's syndrome. You know what I mean? They're a little bit socially awkward, but they're brilliant minds. They're able to come up with these things that we can't figure out and make it into a tool. It's kind of neat.
The build quality on that prop and lock, that is really. I've got it at MT, and that thing, I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have the tailgater yet, Ryan? Since you work on so many.
Yeah,
the tailgater. Tailgater.
Oh, the tailgater. Yeah, that works good too.
I finally used it today, and I
saw your post.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
Forward.
Well, we're starting to wind down to the end of our time period here.
Yeah.
So, any closing thoughts?
Well, I know Ryan was mentioning the IMI certification in Texas, and I wanted to reach out and let our listeners know that there are a couple slots left up in Minnesota if you're thinking about it. If you're up in that neck of the woods.
Can you say Minnesota right?
Minnesota. Like
there
that.
You go.
Minnesota. That's over at Adonis's shop. That's his new name, Don Kavanaugh. I call him Adonis. Because he's the Adonis of dents.
So you're going to Don's place?
I'm going to Don's place. Yeah, I'm going to be there with Mike Toledo and
so
Kaz.
Much FOMO.
Kaz is going to be there from.
Why wasn't I invited?
You have to pay.
You pay up, sucker.
Damn it! I just want the invite. I can't go, but I just want the invite.
Well, it's open to anyone. You could go.
Anyone but you didn't call me up. Hey, me and Mike are going up there. Hey,
what's the date of the? They're also having a smash repair, right there.
Yeah, they're doing. What are they doing? They're doing a CAS training, a Stanliner event.
Oh, okay.
So it's a paid event. I believe it's $1,500 for the 2 days,
I'm not speaking to Don anyway. He came down to visit Mike, and he didn't come up to see me.
Dude, it's like 600 miles away. Who the hell's going to get in a car and drive up there? Everyone has this impression that California is like really small, and Daniel and myself are right next to each other.
Yeah.
But
yeah, people call us up. Hey, I'm going to go see Vince. I'm going to come over and see you. Okay, great.
Yeah, good luck with that. But so that's April 25th and 26th is the Advanced Big Dent Seminar at Adonis's Dent Craft Shop in Minnesota. And that's going to be with Kaz Stanliner. And then the 27th is the IMI training up there. I opened it up to 15 total. It was supposed to be 10, but the response was so big that we're adding a couple more spots for people. So there's that. And then the one that Ryan, you're going to be at is going to be the day before the Bonanza, which will be April 18th, that Thursday. And then April 19th is the Anson Bonanza, where it's going to be a bonanza. There's so many dent guys
in town. Yeah.
Oh, there's tons of guys in town, and you know they're away from their families, so come spend time with your dent family.
Yep.
Hey,
yeah. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that are listed on PDR Tool Time on our Facebook page, so check those out as well. And yeah.
And listeners, give us some feedback. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want us to talk about, tools that you want to hear about, anything, whatever subject. Don't care. Just let us know.
How should they contact us, Daniel?
Pick up the phone and call me, man.
Yeah, I just got 2 Facebook messages today about our podcast that just
get on Facebook. Today. Get on my Facebook and freaking call me.
Yeah,
I'm always available. If you just want to say hi, just call me. I don't care.
But keep in mind, you can't leave Daniel a message because he won't return your call.
No, I don't return messages.
And if you post something on his page, he's not going to return it. A message.
Maybe
either.
A couple days.
So
a couple days, I'll return it.
Just keep on calling him until he answers.
I'm a busy guy. Do you understand?
So before we go, we got to make sure if you aren't following Ryan yet, it's something that you should probably do. He's got some good stuff out there. He's been testing new tools, just like kind of we do. And
hey, Ryan, how about why don't we, me and you get together and we'll build a 1979 Datsun 310 together.
Amazing.
Right?
Sounds amazing.
If we could even find one.
Hey, so Ryan, what's your social medias that we can follow?
RPS Dent Repair and RPS Dent Specialist on YouTube. It's really on both, so I have both names.
And what about your
that OG _Civic is Instagram.
That's
all I have.
And that's OJEE _Civic.
Yes.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you for coming on, Ryan.
Thanks.
It's always a pleasure talking to other dent guys and bringing them on here and having conversation.
Definitely.
Yeah. Ryan's a badass dude. If you see him at MTE next year, buy him a beer.
Yeah.
One thing I can say is the support system out there right now is unbelievable of guys in the industry that want to help each other.
Yeah.
When we first started, it wasn't there.
No.
So it's
all about the love now, right?
It is. It really is.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Well, okay, Daniel, you want to take us out with your catchphrase?
Guys, if you don't level up your tools, you're a loser.
And keep it stiff. All right, guys, thanks for listening. This has been another episode of PDR Tool Time.